नमस्कार, मैं हूं अमित कर्ण और आप सब देखना शुरू कर चुके हैं दैनिक भास्कर और इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं राइटिंग के पठान सुल्तान और मेरे ख्याल से जब आगे
Not Sultan, sir.
टाइगर
Writer.
श्रीधर राघवन जिनकी फिल्म पठान रिकॉर्ड तोड़ कमाई कर रही है। तो पहला फिल्मी सवाल कैसा लगा?
Feels great, sir, to be associated with a blockbuster. That people are loving it so much. That feels wonderful.
और ये कहा जाता है कि राइटिंग एक लोनली वर्क है, अकेले में रह के लिखना होता है, लेकिन लाखों दिलों को छूना भी है अपनी राइटिंग से।
That's wonderfully said. Sir, लेकिन उतना lonely भी नहीं है मतलब I'm just क्या होता है कि वो it's actually a very collaborative business, sir. So क्या है कि the writing of this film मैं तो involved ही हूँ, अब्बास हैं, आदि सर हैं, Sid is there. तो we all chatted, jammed together, discussed a lot. Then sir writing के बाद shooting के time, then shooting के बाद editing पे time, because most people don't realize editing is the last phase of writing. तो जब because क्या है कि editor can rewrite your script. So Arif is a close friend. He's done the editing. So loneliness I won't complain about, sir. I think there was lots of us. You feel lonely when the film doesn't work, sir. That's a very lonely feeling. Like I used to keep joking, the loudest sound in our business is of a phone not ringing. So, so that's when it's lonely. Otherwise, the actual process of writing is great fun. We wrote this over the last, like before the shooting, 3 years. So never lonely at all. Me, Adi sir, Uday had lots of ideas. He came in a lot of stuff. Sid, obviously as a director, had tons of ideas. Abbas, a lot of humor. So it was a collaborative effort, sir.
So editing table पे भी जब मतलब राइटर को रहना चाहिए, so that कि edit क्या कर रहे हैं scene editor, वो शायद एक
Sir, writer को रहना नहीं चाहिए, but writer obviously, as a writer, you will go and see because, see what happens is, the first draft happens on paper. The last draft happens on the edit table. So ideally, you should know कि इसकी ज़रूरत है, इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये जा सकता है. Like for example, certain scenes आपको on paper लगता है कि नहीं यार, these are very very important, ये चाहिए, and later you see नहीं यार, इसकी ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. You can easily do away with this. वो एक perspective जो आता है, and editor has it even better. See, some of our big top directors are editors. For that reason, like David sir, we look at Raju Hirani, and so many people, editing is a talent. I have edited like when I started my career, I worked in production. So I learned editing, I learned camera, I learned everything. Not because, yaar, मुझे cameraman बनना है, मुझे editor बनना है. I knew that editing is also the same as writing. A good editor can, change your film completely.
So, blockbuster फिल्में बनाने का गुरु मंत्र क्या है, श्रीधर राघवन जी?
Guru mantra. Sorry. So I think the truth is just be as honest as you can to the process. Sir, I write like an audience member. मैं primarily एक film watcher हूँ. बचपन से जो what we were talking about earlier, I've grown up watching मनमोहन देसाई, प्रकाश मेहरा, रमेश सिप्पी, यश चोपड़ा. Sir, everything. I grew up, sir, between two theatres. मैं और मेरे भाई श्रीराम जो हैं, we lived between Apollo Talkies and Alankar Talkies in Pune. तो पुराने ज़माने में सर, मतलब आप यंग हो तो you won't remember this, लेकिन मॉर्निंग शोज हुआ करते थे. एंड मॉर्निंग शोज में they used to show बदला, जख्मी. आफ्टरनून शो में तपस्या, श्रद्धांजलि, इस टाइप की फिल्म्स, और फिर मेन शो ये अपोलो. अलंकार में इंग्लिश shows in the morning. Guns of Navarone, McKenna's Gold, morning show, afternoon, Kalia. तो सर मैं तो यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ. So, so when you're writing a film also, I'm trying to write something that 8-year-old can watch, that 10-year-old can watch, with the same amount of pleasure. मतलब
चीज कैसे ला सकते हैं? Suppose that अगर पठान,
हाँ सर,
कि पठान एक कमर्शियल फिल्म,
हाँ सर,
और अगर मतलब थोड़ा हिंदी आप ऐड कर सकते उसमें एक्सेंट में, या
हाँ सर,
तो पठान एक मतलब कमर्शियल फिल्म है, मेक बिलीव करवाना है, हवा में उड़ता हुआ आ रहा है हीरो और वो स्टिल दो बड़ी बिल्डिंग रशिया के 10 मिनट में
या
वो मेक बिलीव एलिमेंट आपने कैसे लाया या मिलके कैसे लाया?
Sir, conviction is required because if you don't believe it, I'm saying you look at Mr. Manmohan Desai's films. He genuinely believed in the magic of the storytelling that he wasn't doing it to कि पब्लिक को ये पसंद आएगी. उनको मजा आ रहा था ना. He was enjoying it as an audience. हाँ sir, I'm saying if you are writing what you enjoy, maximum people can tell you we don't like your taste. But nobody, you're not writing it for some other audience. तो I'm just saying, अगर conviction हो, for example, आप एक scene की बात कर रहे थे, building. I didn't write that scene, sir. Okay, that Sid, I had written a slightly serious, different kind of scene, action scene. Sid said, "Lekin yaar, we can do this over here," and it sounded fun. And Adi sir also liked it. I loved it. Great. The last scene, you know, the two. I'm scared if I'm giving spoilers. There's a lovely scene where the two people are talking. I didn't write that scene, sir. That Adi sir wrote that scene. So, kya hai na, sir? Everybody comes with a conviction they have. Every scene I've written, even if it's, sir, sometimes koi scene flamboyant hai, outrageous hai. If you believe it's possible in this world, that's all that matters, sir. The world you've created, ना, आपने वो world create किया है, आपने उसके rules set किए. You have to operate within that zone. So we knew what we were making, sir. We were making a mainstream commercial film which we hoped would be, at least I was hoping it'll be for me what it was watching films by Manmohan Desai, Vijay Anand. इस type का मजा आना चाहिए यार. मतलब flamboyant, big, large, I mean epic. And when you walk away, you come back with a smile in your face. You want to go and see it again. You want to see it again. Later, आजकल YouTube है, तो you can go and see, यार मुझे वो scene देखना है, मुझे वो dialogue सुनना है. So I think Abbas approached the writing that way. I approached the screenplay that way. Adi sir, anyway, is a big mainstream director, writer, producer. Sid is flamboyant. He's stylish. He likes films with a certain larger-than-life sort of thing. So every sequence in the film, even if something I might not have as much conviction, samne wala, if the director has conviction, that's all that matters. No? Somebody in the team has to have full conviction and convince the others, and that's all that matters. हाँ सर.
तो वो कितना वक्त लगा या इसके कितने ड्राफ्ट बने? अगर
सर 6-7 ड्राफ्ट बने. आप चाहे तो आई कैन टेक यू थ्रू द प्रोसेस सर. आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर इट विल बोर योर ऑडियंस और नॉट. सर क्या है कि सिड, आदि सर हैड दिस आइडिया ऑफ अ कैरेक्टर लाइक दिस पठान. सिड हैड एन आइडिया ऑफ कि प्लॉट में कुछ इस वायरस टाइप का कुछ कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद वी सैट एंड डिस्कस क्या क्या हो सकता है, क्या क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, क्या क्या होना चाहिए. वी डिस्कस्ड फॉर 3-4 months. उसके बाद सर आई सैट एंड प्रिपेयर्ड फर्स्ट ड्राफ्ट विच वी कॉल इट अ बीट शीट सर. आउटलाइन कहते हैं कि 30-40 पेज में ये फ्लो रफली, उस पर 6-8 महीने और डिस्कशन कि नहीं यार इसमें ये और हो सकता है, ये मतलब प्लॉटिंग थोड़ा वीक है, यहाँ पर कुछ और कर सकते हैं, स्पेक्टिकल सीन्स कर सकते हैं, इस टाइप का ह्यूमर चाहिए, इस टाइप का ये चाहिए. देन वी आर सिटिंग विद द स्टार ऑल्सो, विद मिस्टर शाहरुख खान. ही हैड अ लॉट ऑफ इनपुट्स, अ लॉट ऑफ इंटरेस्टिंग आइडियाज. Sir, I'll give a broader example, sir. Like most people know Mr. Shah Rukh Khan as the romantic hero. Some of us who remember Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, we know him as the boy next door. He played that beautifully. Like if you remember Aziz Bhai's films and Yes Boss and Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na and stuff like that, some of us know him as a villain. Bazigar, Dar. Okay? His real trip, I think, his real interest has always been action. So he is like a thesis on the action film, sir. उनको action में एक PhD है. In terms of, so it's not about specific scenes. मुझे actually याद नहीं है sir because it's 2-3 years. But I know कि when he heard it, he shared a document he had put down with me कि action film में क्या क्या होना चाहिए, कैसे होना चाहिए. It was a 70-100 page document. It was terrific. बहुत सारे insights थे, बहुत सारे. It was his. He had written just his insights on action film. क्या होता है? What makes an action film exciting? What makes an action film exciting for an audience? Not from a star's point of view, sir. Not written कि मैं अगर कर रहा हूँ, it was just कि action film में क्या, it's almost like if you and I are sitting and chatting about action film में ये होना चाहिए. He had a lot of ideas like that, and that helped me a lot. With Sid, I might not necessarily think as spectacularly as Sid can think. Sometimes I can, sometimes he'll say, we can do this, and I'll say, one second, are you sure we can do this? Because, sir, आजकल क्या है? Technology has progressed to a point where a lot of things I couldn't have imagined necessarily are possible, and he has the conviction. He sees everything larger than life. He loves grand, big, huge. So that's terrific. He and Adi sir are very good at that. Adi sir is terrific at drama. Abbas is good at humor. I have some qualities, I guess, in the middle of all this. I'm decent at plotting. I'm decent at characterization, rooting. क्या कहते हैं sir? A film, you know, these kind of films are, क्या कहते हैं sir? They call it a tent pole film. मतलब एक phrase होता है sir, tent pole film. तो क्या है sir? Tent तो उनका है. आदि सर और सिड का टेंट है. पोल्स भी वैसे उनके हैं. मैं सर I dig the poles in and I make the tents waterproof. वो मेरा काम है. मतलब थोड़ा कलर वलर करता हूँ बीच में. And but this is our business sir. तो
और जैसे मतलब कोई ऐसे मतलब रियल लाइफ या कोई ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स थे शायद मतलब ज़हन में जो शायद आपको या फिर सिड को या फिर आदि सर को स्ट्राइक किया और फिर उस पर शाहरुख सर का या दीपिका का या फिर जिम का?
Honestly, no sir. It was actually, I mean, maybe this you should ask Sid whether there were any references, because when we started it was, yaar, we want to make an exciting story. Sir, तब COVID हुआ नहीं था. So we were dealing with a virus वाला story. In fact, I was worried when COVID happened. I said, अरे यार, मतलब ये क्या है? You know, you're not sure whether people will get pucked कि जो हो रहा है real life में उस type का. But no, we just wanted to make an exciting action, a flamboyant, big action film, sir. We wanted to make a really grand action film. Sir, एक comic book का energy चाहिए था. By comic book, I'm not talking Marvel. I'm talking Indrajal comics. I'm talking, sir, Phantom comics. Amar Chitra Katha is still, sir, solid rooted in history, mythology. I love Amar Chitra Katha. But I'm saying Indrajal comics, Commando comics, आप पढ़ोगे ना? James Bond के जो comics हैं, they are also books, but most people don't know it used to be a comic strip also. फिर Modesty Blaze, बहुत सारे एक comic book का एक energy होता है, sir. That energy is what we wanted to bring, and of course the energy of, sir, if you go and see यादों की बारात, उसमें एक एनर्जी है. अभी मुझे पता नहीं वो कैसे समझाऊं to somebody who doesn't, if you haven't seen Johnny मेरा नाम, if you've not seen यादों की बारात, I can't analyze it and tell you. I can just tell you कि भाई तू पागल है, तू जाके देख. And I have an advantage which they can't have today. I have grown up as a child and seen some of these films in the theatre. I've seen them in 70mm. I've sat there in the front row and I've said, wow. So that energy which we took 30-35 years ago, which Salim Javed Saab gave us, which Vijayanand Saab gave us, आज जब हम लोग लिखते हैं sir, we are in some way trying to take that energy from then and reflect it back in a little way.
तो मतलब दो सवाल मेरे.
हाँ sir.
एक तो ये कि पठान इतनी सक्सेसफुल है.
हाँ sir.
दिनों में 600 करोड़ वर्ल्ड वाइड हो रहा है. तो why not पठान 2 individually आए hypothetically?
हाँ sir.
And secondly, second question मेरा ये है कि पठान की जो रिकवरी है, बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन है.
I'm the wrong guy sir. मुझे ना हाँ.
तो बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शंस जो है मतलब मेट्रो सिटीज से
जी जी
ओवरसीज से भी ज्यादा
जी.
जहाँ की ऑडियंस फास्ट एंड फ्यूरियस वगैरह देखती रही. तो वो ऑडियंस कैसे अट्रैक्ट होगी हमारी फिल्मों से, उसका क्या आंसर है? क्योंकि उन्होंने ऑलरेडी एक्शन देख रखा है फास्ट एंड फ्यूरियस 7 में.
Sir, Pathan hasn't worked because of the action. Pathan hasn't worked because scale spectacular hai. That's not the only reason. It's one of the reasons. But sir, it is the character has worked. People have enjoyed, loved the characters of Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, John Abraham, Deepika. That connect is what you seek, sir. Everything else is extra. It's not the plotting, sir. Of course, Fast and Furious will have deadlier action, sir. I mean, 500 films at 500 times the budget will have deadlier action. I don't think people came in and they like the action, but I think maybe, I don't think it's only about Indian cinema, sir. I think it's about all cinema overall. If you get your emotions right, your battle is won. The main thing is making...
Indian audience is concerned.
No, sir, I think any audience actually. I honestly think finally when we go to a theatre, when the lights go out, we want not just to escape, we also want to connect, sir. We want to connect with what's happening on screen. We want to connect with these people around us. And it's a very calming, beautiful experience. So you watch something on screen and you believe that character. Briefly, for those 2 hours, you're time traveling, sir. You're not just time traveling, you're traveling in time and space. Sir, when I'm watching Jurassic Park, I'm not watching from the outside. I'm actually in Jurassic Park. That's what a good filmmaker is trying to make you. He's trying to make you forget the real world and temporarily enter. That world could be a gigantic scale world. It could be a flamboyant comic book world, sir. Like हमने जो create किया है. It could also be a small emotional world. It could be the world of a film like Ghar. It could be the world of Kala Patthar, where I got to go to the mines. Sir, it's a way to travel. It's a way to... हाँ sir, sorry. हाँ पठान 2 सर पठान 2 क्या there'll be पठान 8, 9, 10, 12 बहुत सारे पठान होंगे हम नहीं होंगे लेकिन पठान will continue. There will be lots of... No, I'm just saying the film will work regardless of... It's not any a person, अच्छा इसने screenplay किया ये किया नहीं. It's... I think there will be many more Pathans. There will be... Sorry, but your question or something else, I think. Sorry, sir. हाँ sir.
मतलब individual पठान 2 क्यों नहीं? क्योंकि
Sir, there might be Pathan 2 individual also.
नहीं, हाँ, तो लोग कह रहे हैं कि नहीं ये स्पाई यूनिवर्स के तौर पे पठान पे टाइगर में आएगा या वॉर 3 में आएगा.
नहीं sir. It's not like that. It's actually, sir, a universe is being created. What does that actually mean also? It means that ये genre में, ये spy genre में, we've already got 2-3 very interesting characters. We've got Tiger, who's been there for a while. We've got Kabir, who's been there for the last 2-3 years. We've got Pathan, we've got Rubai, we've got Zoya. We've got lots of characters. More characters will come.
Spin-off नहीं होगा. ये spin-off होगा कभी. ऐसे
Spin-off, sir, ये सब एक ही world है, sir. तो ऐसा, sir, it is not a rule कि इस film में that person has to be there or that person has to be there. But this is the world where they all are coexisting in. हो सकता है sir कि there will be films only with Pathan, only with Kabir, only with Tiger. हो सकता है in one film there will be 3 of them. हो सकता है there will be a film where new characters come, old characters who we thought are gone will come back. कुछ भी हो सकता है sir. तो
मतलब ये एक सवाल केस स्टडी के लिए अच्छा होगा.
हाँ sir.
कि जैसा एक्शन KGF 2 में था.
या
KGF में था. ठीक है. या फिर हॉलीवुड फिल्मों में है.
हाँ sir.
सपोज दैट जो मतलब अगेन मैं कह रहा हूँ फास्ट एंड फ्यूरियस में जो हाईवे वाला सीन था 7 में.
Okay.
हेलीकॉप्टर से होता है और एक हाईवे से दूसरे हाईवे पे आती है गाड़ी बड़ी. एनीवे.
Sir, एक थोड़ा joke है, which you'll find amusing and most people won't believe. I have not really seen Fast and the Furious, sir. मेरे references actually ना, I love many of these films. I love the Bond films and all that stuff. I've not seen Fast and the Furious. I've seen one of them, Hobbs and Shaw. I've seen that. लेकिन I can talk to you about Vijay Anand. I can talk to you on one Desai if you want to talk about.
एक्शन का स्केल और एक्शन का कन्विक्शन जब
हाँ.
KGF 2 में
या
यश का कैरेक्टर आता है.
या टेरिफिक.
और वो बंदूक की नली पे सिगरेट जलाते हैं.
या सुपर्ब.
मतलब वो खतरनाक.
हाँ.
तो क्या एक राइटर के लिए मतलब ये चीज होनी चाहिए कि वो ऐसी फिल्मों को देख ले सो दैट उससे बड़ा स्केल क्रिएट करे या नहीं वो ना देखे?
Sir, if you're a writer and you enjoy, sir, you have to enjoy the commercial format, the mainstream format. If you enjoy it, then you have to watch all of these. Because, sir, Indian storytelling mein, specific to our storytelling, I'm saying. Now, I'm not talking about the Western film. There are 2 big differences, sir. Introduction. Abhi, you take Rajmouli sir's RRR, you take any film. I mean, Magadira, you take any film he's made. You take our own films, Yashji's films, Mr. Prakash Mehra's films, Manmohan Desai sir's films, introduction of the hero. There is an anticipation. Audience is waiting कि अब बच्चन साहब आएंगे, अब शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा साहब आएंगे, अब विनोद खन्ना आएगा, अब सर ये बहुत यूनिक टू इंडिया है. मतलब मुझे नहीं पता कि वेस्टर्न फिल्म में पीपल आर वेटिंग हैरिसन फोर्ड आएगा, मुझे पता नहीं सर. हो सकता है वहाँ भी मतलब मेरे जैसे कैरेक्टर्स हैं, लेकिन आई नो कि यहाँ पर इफ आई एम गोइंग एंड वॉचिंग अ रजनी सर फिल्म, आई एम वेटिंग कि सर उनका इंट्रोडक्शन अभी होने वाला है एंड सीटी वीटी, मतलब एक एनर्जी है सर. द थिएटर बिकम्स अलाइव. सेकेंड सर, इंटरवल पॉइंट. अभी मेनी पीपल से कि इंटरवल पॉइंट क्या है यार, ये जबरदस्ती इट ब्रेक्स द फ्लो. नहीं. द इंटरवल पॉइंट इज a terrific device in our films, because sir, if you look at our stories, the most dramatic event usually happens in interval. You take Sholay sir, shawl when it flies off, it's the interval point. Diwar, when the two brothers think interval. So now sir, interval point mein it's the biggest test for the entire unit, the stars, the directors and also the writer, because for 10 minutes the audience is getting a chance to walk away. 10 minutes, you've spent 1.5 hours creating this world. Abhi bhai, you've told them, chal, break hai. आप बाथरूम जा सकते हो, समोसा खा सकते हो, आप आओगे वापस. So the interval point became the most dramatic point in the film. And it's great fun. It's great fun when you're writing a film. These things are cheap thrills. I say cheap thrills because these are the little things that make us very, very happy, which somebody else might not understand. Like, how do you introduce this character? You know you've got Shah Rukh Khan, you know you've got John Abraham, you know you've got Deepika, you know you've got whoever. How do you introduce them in a manner by which, it's like, I tell writers, when you're stuck on a scene, try and think, how would Vijayanand have cracked this? How would Manmohan Desai have cracked this? How would Mani Ratnam crack this? How would Kamal Hassan, the writer-director, crack this? How would he? Because then you realize, alag-alag introductions ho sakte hain. Shankar sir, I'm a huge fan of Shankar also. So how would they come up with this? And then you think of different introductions, then you say, Acha, what would I do in this situation? These are things to enjoy. I don't know whether Western screenwriters have this fun, this particular joy of introduction and interval point. Songs again, sir. Abhi, honestly, I don't know, like, how Raj Kapoor Saab and Vijayanand Saab and Manoj Kumar Saab, how they used songs, it was glorious. I don't think I have hit even a microscopic level of trying to integrate music into a film as beautifully. But that also is a beauty of its own, sir. This is our idiom, sir. I'm talking about the Indian film industry. A Telugu writer, a Tamil writer, a Bengali writer, a Marathi writer, a Hindi writer, all of us have these same aspirations. This is what connects us.
So, a futuristic.
हाँ sir.
एक writer के लिए कि अब आज की audience.
हाँ sir.
या अब जो ये audience है जो शायद evolve हुई है कोविड के period में, world cinema देखा है, web series देखा है, ठीक है?
हाँ sir.
वो किस चीज से attract होता है? वो हम
Honesty, sir. Honesty and connecting to the story. I forgot who said this, sir. I think maybe Gulzar Saab said this. I don't know who. I heard this somewhere. I used to love it. He says, when the audience sees a poster or sees a trailer, they make up a movie in their head. And they come inside. And they hope you've made a better movie than they've come up with. If you've not made as good or not made a better movie, they'll leave and give it galis. I think when people forget everything and they believe in the world you're creating, the world, sir, like I said earlier, can be hyper-realistic. It can be flamboyant. I don't think that matters, sir. But they have to believe in the world, and for that, the makers have to believe in the world.
वो चीज cross-check कैसे?
Cross-check में समझा नहीं, sir.
कि suppose that आपने scene लिखा,
हाँ.
ठीक है, और उससे audience connect हो ही जाएगी.
नहीं सर, कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि बिकॉज मैं बिलीव कर रहा हूं कि आप बिलीव करोगे, कोई गारंटी नहीं है. नहीं तो फिल्म्स फ्लॉप होते ही नहीं. मतलब क्या होता है कि कभी कभी सर तीन टाइप का ये होता है कि मैं कन्विंस्ड हूं, मैं आपको कन्विंस नहीं कर पा रहा. तीन है कि दो है मुझे पता नहीं सर. सडनली आई वाज गेटिंग कंफ्यूज्ड. दूसरा, दिस इज द डेंजरस वन सर, कि मैं खुद कन्विंस्ड नहीं हूं लेकिन मैं सोच रहा हूं कि नहीं ये उनको ऐसे मतलब चीज पसंद है. नहीं यार, ये गलत है. मतलब सर, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, इस फिल्म के स्क्रिप्ट के हिसाब से अगर कोई सीक्वेंस है जो मैं खुद बिलीव नहीं करता हूं, तो मुश्किल है टू कन्विंस. अगेन आई एम कोटिंग जावेद साहब, आई थिंक, ऑन दिस. ही सेड इफ द ऑडियंस क्राइज in a theater, it's because somewhere a long time ago while writing a writer cried. If an audience smiles at a certain place, it's somewhere long time ago a writer while writing smiled. And sir, all you can do is you can hope that you are honest and you are genuine, and then you hope that that honesty, crosses. If dishonesty is there, maybe it will still work. वो कभी-कभी वो होता है सर. मतलब that I'm not saying कि आप honesty रहो, you become हरिश्चंद्र or I'm not saying any of that. But I have found that the films which work are actually because the maker or the makers genuinely believed in what they were doing. Like when you see RRR, Rajamouli sir believes in that world. He believes in it and he's making what he as a child would enjoy. You go and watch Ega, which was released in Hindi as Makhi. Sir, he believed that this story could happen, and I love him for that. That for me in the last few years is one of my favorite films. Because if you made the audience believe that somebody can die and come back as a fly and take revenge, I'm like, you're the boss. Believe, sir. Abhi koi scientifically, neutrally, coldly bole ki stories about this, you'll say scientifically this is not possible. Spiritually this is not possible. You can have 500 reasons, but yaar, I believe in it. When you enter Robo made by Mr. Shankar, when you watch Kala Patthar made, you have to believe, you as the maker believe in that world. If you believe in that world, that intensity crosses through, sir. I just try and believe. If I'm working on a subject, sir, where I feel I can't relate, I honestly tell them, bhai, I'm not the right writer for this. Because kya hai ki sometimes, for example, somebody approaches me with a film, say, on something, I'll just say, I don't feel what you're feeling, I don't see what you're seeing, I don't understand what you're seeing, maybe that writer is better, that writer is better. Koi guarantee nahi, sir, just because one writer can do this, that person can write something else. Who knows? I am good at certain kinds of things. मेरा एक limited, sir, I'm like एक छोटा उडुपी रेस्टोरेंट सर. इसमें मतलब यहाँ पर आपको ये मिलेगा. आपको चाइनीज चाहिए भाई, वहाँ पर एक मस्त चाइनीज रेस्टोरेंट है, वहाँ जाओ. मैं वो बंदा नहीं हूँ. तो I know my limitations, and I also try and be as true as possible to what I would watch, the kind of stories I like to watch. Earlier we were talking before this interview, which is, you can cut this out. We were talking about my world is not just Manmohan Desai and Prakash Mehra and Ramesh Sippy and Yash Chopra, Manoj Kumar, Kamal Hassan. It is also Govind Nihalani. It is also, the amount of influence I have taken away from those films is as strong. So tomorrow, it doesn't need to be a spectacle, sir. It might be a low budget film. But if it's honest and if it's like, this is, I know what those kind of films can be, the effect they can have. So. हाँ सर, हाँ,
शाहरुख सर के, दीपिका के, तो वो कितने नंबर ऑफ राउंड्स, मतलब टेंटेटिव वो चले, उसमें से कोई ऐसी इंटरेस्टिंग याद आपको आ रही हो चीज सिटिंग्स के?
Sir, I'm very embarrassed to tell you that I don't remember too much of anything in life. I remember there were lots of sessions with Mr. Shah Rukh Khan discussing it, because much earlier, before the rest of the cast came into play, when we were actually debating about the story. So discussions about action, about this, about character, about this.
सबसे पहले शाहरुख आए थे, ऐसा कह सकते हैं?
Sorry, sir?
सबसे पहले as a cast.
Yeah, sir. He was, we were writing this film because Adi sir and he and Sid had this plan of making a certain kind of film. And I came in and designed the script of the film. So he was, once we wrote the first few drafts, we would brainstorm, discuss. He had lots of feedback, lots of points, lots of interesting ideas. Like, I'm trying to think, even something like that team, wo jo, people who are not, they have some issue because of which they can't remain in the forces. I think those ideas came from him. Lots of how do you make a character real? So one thing is to write a character. So I actually find that the writing process, when you're sitting with the people who are going to play it eventually, it's a very organic to and fro process. You wind up building and layering the character better and better. In the absence of that, you might walk off with a slightly two-dimensional character. The person who makes it three-dimensional, four-dimensional, multi-dimensional is actually the actor. To a great extent, of course the director, of course the producer, of course the cameraman. I'm not taking away from any of the unit. But tomorrow, like you were talking about KGF, the actor has to feel that energy, you know. That's why he's able to bring it out there. I think you have to feel that paper pe likha hai wo theek hai. And all credit to the writer for writing great dialogue bazi type lines. Lekin bhai, samne, the actor also has to have the conviction ki, yeah, this is how I'm going to present this is how I'm going to do this. So it's a, sir, kya kehte hain, symbiotic process. We also sir, yahan ek big advantage hai. We're working with people like Mr. Shah Rukh Khan who, for example, I have seen from the time I was in school, college, etc. So we have a certain, how would we like to present this? Like earlier, again, this you can cut this if you want, we were talking about Khaki. When it was like, would you write this film with Mr. Bachchan in it? It was like, wow, I'm getting a chance to write a cop character. When you say policeman, Mr. Bachchan, what do you think of? You think of Zanjeer. So my first question was, agar wo Zanjeer ka police officer had survived the force for 20-25 years, how would he have been? And I said, let me write that character. Now, so I'm saying, when we're writing with Mr. Khan, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, we already know flamboyance to hai. You know he's wonderful with humor, he's wonderful with romantic scenes. Now how do we build on, keep all that? Take everything you love and then add one more layer which is fun. Sorry sir, hero हमारा? हाँ. Dry humor, हाँ, okay.
ह्यूमर नहीं है, सीरियस है बंदा.
हाँ.
थोड़ा सा जैसे तुषार कपूर था खाकी में.
Okay.
मतलब ह्यूमरस नहीं.
That role was.
हाँ, नहीं तो मतलब क्या पठान का किरदार एकदम नो नॉनसेंस सीरियस किस्म का रह सकता था या नहीं, मतलब ह्यूमर.
No, sir, we wanted him to be somebody who appeals to.
Mass level.
No, it wasn't like that, sir. How does one put it? He's vulnerable, sir.
Okay.
And that always makes a person more lovable and likable. When you can feel pain, you do, you know, for me, the things I loved the most about the film are things I didn't even write. You know, where he's saying my lower back, the other, this thing is saying, or they're talking about the painkillers. These are small things. But you relate to it because normally, sir, action film mein is type ke scenes hote nahi hai. That vulnerability, that relatability, that connect which comes, I think is so big. So writing a two-dimensional, big, tough action hero comes and beats everybody, does everything, doable, sir. But isn't it more fun when you like the character, you see their weaknesses, you see their flaws, you see their humor, they are making fun of themselves a couple of times. I think you enjoy the character more, they become more relatable, they become more likable. And that is very important, sir. Not that we are, sir, ये कुछ genetic lab नहीं है कि हम engineer कर रहे हैं character की, इससे ये likable हो जाएगा, इससे नहीं. But we know कि, अरे यार, if I met a guy like this, I would find him funny. Humor, I think, is crucial, sir. I love humor in films. Not over the top loud humor, I'm just saying a certain self-mockingness. It's good, sir. And terrific. He's so, I mean, sir, in the theater when that scarf comes down and then his attitude, it's terrific. It's like, I mean, me as an audience member was like happy. So, I mean, I guess that feeling we felt ki we want to treat our stars this way. We want to see them like this. So that is fully Adi, sir. So I have only come into this since war, sir. To be very honest, I'm saying there are two films before. There's Tiger 1, there's Tiger 2. I've written War. I have worked on Pathaan, I've written this, I've written Tiger 3, and we're working on more films. The core idea of this and the heart of this, the design of this, everything is actually Adisa, because he had a certain plan of how he wants to do things. So, I mean, he is actually the architect of, he's the person who's created the spy universe. I'm helping design it to the best of my ability. But again, to be very honest, it's not limited to me or anybody else. I'm saying tomorrow if we find an interesting, great, there might be some other writer, there might be some other, I mean, that's great. He is the core person who's there at the thing of it. Right now, we're just creating interesting characters, interesting stories we want to tell, and I think every credit of this would go to him.
Last question. Creative diet क्या होना चाहिए?
Creative diet.
क्या खाएं जो great ideas आएं?
A terrific question. Sir, I teach also occasionally. I mentor a lot of youngsters and stuff. I keep telling them, one is, I'm not a big believer in film school and stuff like that, sir, but I'm a big believer in watching a film and reading the script. I'm a big believer in reading. For example, sir, if tomorrow, say, you want to write a thriller, you should know your genre. You should know your genre, sir. I'm saying, क्या है ना, बहुत सारे लोग, they don't know the genre, and not just the genre of the last 10 years, sir. क्या होता है कि many people are limited by 2000, no, not means, sir, not means. आजकल YouTube की वजह से nobody has a, सबके हाथ में phone है. Internet connection is also cheap. It's not, I'm saying, most people don't have that issue. The problem is, we are flooded. So we've stopped. Time has stopped for us. For many people, the world begins with Dil Chahta Hai. Or Dil Wale Dulhaniya. मतलब उनका जो reference point है, अब का है. So when you're writing a thriller or you're writing a romantic film, you're thinking of this thing. You have to go back. You have to go back. You have to really watch the cinema of, in India, if you're writing thrillers and you haven't seen Vijay Anand, if you haven't seen Bridge, if you're writing a drama and you haven't seen Manoj Kumar, if you're writing a family big entertainer and you haven't seen Manmohan Desai, too many directors, Gurudutt, Raj Khosla, there are too many. So instead of spending 3 years in a college thing, baitho dost, see all these films first, read. One thing again which is slipping. Most people when they say read, I was interviewing a couple of youngsters, they say we read. I said, read what? What kind of books? And they were telling, no, we read online, we read this. All that is fine. But sir, if you want to write adventures, you should read Alistair MacLean. If you want to, write a mystery, Agatha Christie, there was a writer called Agatha Christie. If you want to write pulp, Surendra Mohan Pathak sir, there are so many, there is so much of learning we can do sitting at home. There is so much of learning we can do ourselves. The creative diet is that, sir. The creative diet is reading, creative diet is watching, creative diet is analyzing. I tell people, you watch a bad film, it's a terrific opportunity. You saw a film of mine you hate, you said, hey, bundle film hai. No problem, yaar. Instead, spend 3 hours and work for yourself, how would you have made this better? Every failure is an opportunity for somebody else. So I'm saying if you saw one film of mine or one film of somebody and said, first half ठीक था लेकिन second half bundle है, आप क्या करते यार? I'm not saying it is a challenge. I'm saying actually I'm curious because that is how you will learn. So every time you watch something which doesn't work or you read something that doesn't work, take time off, think about how you would solve it. This will come to, it will come really useful for you. This is very important for writers. Analyzing and not criticizing necessarily. Too much of our lives is spent sitting and saying, hey, life is too short. I don't criticize anybody, anything. It's not because I don't have opinions. My opinions don't matter. There are too many things I want to do. Too many things I want to watch. I'm interested in the great things in life. I'm not interested in the negativity. So I would just advise youngsters to do that.
पठान का स्क्रीनप्ले,
हाँ सर.
तो उसमें जैसे एंडिंग आपने पहले लिखी या
The last scene, sir? The last scene wasn't written by me again, sir. Now you'll wonder, yaar, iska naam kyun hai is film mein? Lekin the last scene was written by Adi sir. So Adi sir wrote that scene. If I remember right, uska placement, it was somewhere else in the film at one point. Because aap logically dekhoge, sir, it comes as part of the train sequence. Then I think, if I remember right, again maybe this I'm wrong, but I think there was a lot of discussion, should we keep it, should we not keep it. Adi sir loved the scene, he knew it was a great scene. And I think it was Uday's idea to put it there at that moment. Whatever, it happened between, it was a scene written by Adi sir and placed there. It wasn't a scene written by me. My script ended, after that last major action sequence and a return to the place where it all began and stuff like that. These little touches, these flourishes, this is him. This is him. The flamboyance, the humor, a lot of it, of course, Abbas and all also. But things like the painkiller, all these small touches, these things more than the plot are what make you love a film, sir. Meaning, I'm saying when you walk away from a film, so edit all this, huh? I'm just talking for the sake of talking. I'm just saying, a film, finally, sir, you think of the best film you love. You will not remember 2 hours. You will remember 2 or 3 moments. You will remember something in that film which you took away. And those 2-3 moments, those 4-5 moments in a film are what actually the audience holds.
Painkiller वाला idea कैसे है?
Sir, मुझे खुद पता नहीं है. I'll ask Sid, or in case you're interviewing Sid, you ask him, he'll have a better idea. I honestly don't remember, sir. I and Abbas were laughing earlier कि when you write something 2-3 years, you start losing context कि कब, कैसे, किसने. And I don't, sir, personally, I don't believe in a thing कि ये मैंने किया, ये उन्होंने किया, ये इसने किया, ये हमने किया यार. अच्छा है. I think वो जो theme, every time I hear that theme, I'm like, wow. I love good music in a film. I mean, I'm not just talking about Vishal Shekhar's songs, which are brilliant, background score. I'm like, wow, I'm enjoying this. So that is also writing, sir. Because when that person is entering, before he enters, that music starts, I'm like excited. So I think all of us did it together in some manner.
कितने अवेलेबल हैं दूसरे प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस के लिए भी श्रीधर राघवन?
कितने अवेलेबल है, सर?
या नहीं, मतलब यशराज से ही वक्त नहीं है?
नहीं sir, nothing like that, sir. Life just goes on at its same normal pace, sir. I am writing stuff, something will work, something won't work, and I've not even thought aage what. I'm very happy writing what I'm writing. Right now, there's a lot of the spy universe, jo hum kehte hain, which I'm sitting with Adi sir, and we're trying to develop that forward and stuff, and that's a focus. There's one other a thing I'm working on, which is this is not the right context to talk about it. So one is working, sir, and I'm not much into doing a lot of work. I enjoy the little that I do. It's great fun. So, and I'm very happy working with people I like. Sorry, sir?
Santoshi. वो हिंदी में कहना satisfaction.
Yeah. Sukoon.
सुकून वाले.
Yeah. I think it's crucial in our business or in any business, sir, to just work with people you really get along with. If you don't get along with somebody, work becomes very, very hard. So if you like somebody and you respect somebody, then even if something, so we are talking today when this film is done well.
Yes.
But in some cases, the film doesn't work as well as one wanted. You cannot be attached to the outcome. You have to be attached to the process. There can be no attachment to the outcome. For a writer especially, sir, it's crucial. Like I have written 30 scripts which were not made most probably. Because every writer, any writer in this country, the top writer, middle writer, you'll ask, there will be stories which they couldn't get made. But if that made them unhappy, that would be ridiculous. Because the process of writing is fun. Then it's like tadka. Arey, wow, it also got made. Oh, it got made well. Sometimes you cry because it got made and it didn't get made well. So writers के बहुत सारे woes हैं. मतलब आप शुरू करो तो it's an orchestra of woes. But when it works well, when it works right, that's a different pleasure altogether. But no attachment to outcome. Enjoy the process, work with people you like, work with people you respect, who also respect you. Here, I am treated superbly by the people I work with. I'm given a lot of courtesy and a lot of respect on the page. When we are talking, we are all writers. Nobody's talking कि मैं director हूँ, मैं producer हूँ, मैं star हूँ. नहीं यार, we are talking like writers, which is great fun. That's all we want. So, hope something was of use, sir. As usual, I talk